When we have a behavior problem, we've got to categorize. And I find people have a hard time doing this. Is it biology or is it behavior? I find the normal human mind is a hard time with this. I get very frustrated with my cattle clients. They can't seem to figure out a behavior problem with their workers compared to something wrong with the equipment. And they always want to like rip out all the equipment and change it. But maybe the problem is that people aren't trained. They don't seem to differentiate. Well, now I'm beginning to think that this is more of a cognitive problem. Okay, the two most important biological reasons for bad behavior, like tantrums and things like that, is a hidden painful medical problem. And if they're nonverbal, all kinds of hidden painful medical problems. And the other thing is sensory, or the fear. They don't want to go in that room because last week the smoke alarm went off in that room and they're scared to death of that room. Or a smoke alarm went off and now anytime they see a smoke alarm, they're going to bed. Because they're afraid it's going to blow their ears out. That's biology. Okay, what are your main causes of behavior? Frustration because they can't communicate, getting attention, and not doing something. Well, I was just at one of Peter Gearhart's talks yesterday, and he was talking about a nonverbal guy, big adult, who used to beat up the teachers. And he did this because he knew he could get out of the task by beating them up. So what he did is they tried to hit the teacher just left. Then all he had to do like that, he make the teacher leave. And then he was stealing the candy, and then they just decided he was so food motivated they couldn't use that as a reward because he was like just cuckoo food motivated. So they just had food motivated all the time, and then the aggression stopped. And they didn't have to do drugs. You know, too often times, every time there's a meltdown or a tantrum, there's just more and more drugs. Well, the thing is, I think it's okay to be a little bit eccentric. That's fun. And there's a scene in the movie where my boss slams down a can of deodorant. And that actually happened. And I was very furious at the time. But I look back on it and I thank him for that. In fact, I told Mick Jackson exactly how to slam it down. Correct. How to slam it down. They did that exactly. And there is Shane from Big Bang Theory. And if you've ever watched that show, he's as Asperger's as they could be. You know, the people in the tech community don't particularly like the Asperger label. They get worried about it holding the kid back. I get worried about that with some of these really smart kids because you go out in the Silicon Valley, they just apprentice these kids into the tech industry. They start teaching them programming when they're 10 years old. What drives me really nuts is I'll go out and I'll do a talk out in Silicon Valley, and I've done some computer talks, computer shows. And, oh, they're Asperger. You go in the breakfast room, everybody's on their laptops, they want to talk to me? No. But then I come to an autism meeting, and maybe a 10-year-old kid walks up to me, very smart little 10-year-old kid, and all he wants to do is talk about his autism. In other words, autism is becoming their fixation rather than mathematics or science or something that can turn into a career. I get concerned about that. In fact, one of the reasons why I don't let autism take over is I think it's really important that I have a job where I can do things that have absolutely nothing to do with autism.